Hello, my marvellous sausages. Now, Destiny 2 sneaked into my life way back in 2017. Now, since that fateful day, we've had huge ups and huge downs, lots of tantrums, lots of glowing praise, and loads of content. So that got me thinking. I wonder how much money I've spent on this game since I started it all those years ago. So let's start with Dominus Gaul and the Red War in 2017. Now, I was already invested in Destiny because I'd played the original from 2014, and so I was stupidly excited about Destiny 2. So I purchased the Red War and the expansion bundle. Now, this also included, here we go, are you ready? Curse of Osiris, which is widely considered the worst Destiny 2 expansion, but looking back on it, it actually wasn't so bad, really. But it did seem quite thin in comparison to the Red War itself. It had Mercury as a patrol zone, which was tiny, to be honest. We had 2 strikes, that was the Tree of Probabilities and a Garden World. I vaguely remember them. Raid lairs were introduced, there was 3 Crucible maps, and also Adventures, which was still a thing back then. We had 3 of those. And the other DLC included in the bundle was Warmind, set on Mars. I really enjoyed that one, which was great. There was 3 story missions when you look back at it, which actually seems quite stingy. But there were 4 adventures, and 3 new strikes. That was Insight Terminus, which we still got, Strange Terrain, and Will of the Thousands. There was Spire of the Stars raid lair, 2 Crucible maps, Meltdown and Solitude, and of course there was Escalation Protocol, much healthier. Now, this entire bundle came to $79.99. In dollars, at today's exchange rate, that's around about $97. Let's stick that on the totalizer. Generally though, a pretty thin year, that one. Very samey and content droughty. So as you can imagine, when Forsaken was announced, I immediately pre-ordered it, and upon hearing the new seasonal model, that just reinforced my pre-order excitement. So in August 2018, I purchased Forsaken and the annual pass. Now, this included Season of the Forge, which was an excellent season. That we had the Black Armory, Ada 1 shenanigans, a new raid in the form of Scourge of the Past. We unlocked the Lost Forges, had 3 classic exotics. That was Jotun, Le Monarch, and Izanagi's Burden as well. We also had the Niobe Labs event, and looking back at it, really, this season was something special. It really was. Then we had Season of the Drifter, which loads of people hated, but I actually loved it, especially the amazing story cutscenes each week that embraced the weirdness and fourth wall breaking of the 9. I love the 9. Plus, of course, we had the Reckoning, Gambit Prime, which was just Gambit with the word Prime on the end. The Recluse submachine gun sent people bonkers, but in comparison to Season of the Forge, it was perhaps smaller in scope, and this resulted in general disappointment. Then finally, Season of Opulence and the magnificent menagerie with its changing weekly layout, great weapons, and the Crown of Sorrow raid as well. To my mind, this has been the best year of Destiny 2 when it comes to DLC and to the seasons, and it came with a price tag of £79.99 or $97. Then a momentous moment in my Destiny 2 life, something which I still use to this day. I spent £4.49 or $5.56 on 500 silver so I could buy the Daring Hat projection. Thank you, Indie Fedora. You are forever with me, and I will never take you off. Now, 2019, year of Shadowkeep. We unearthed the pyramid ship on the moon. Again, I pre-ordered it as I was making a lot more videos at this time, and then I went for the digital deluxe edition, which is going to be my standard going forward. But this one was suddenly a lot cheaper, £49.99 or $60.80. Well, roughly, and it included 4 seasons, not 3. Season of Undying was the first one. I barely noticed this one because it was launched alongside Shadowkeep, and by the time I'd gone through that, well, the season was practically over. It seemed to be about Vex that had symbiotically bonded with greenhouses. Anyway, I can't remember. In fact, I don't like it that the season is launched the same time as big DLC, really. I'd prefer they went back to the 3 seasons, to be honest, put the resources they used use from that first season into making the other 3 a bit bigger and better. Or, and actually this would be even better, use that first season to rework and add to the core playlists. Expand them, add Gambit and Crucible maps, all that kind of thing. But I can dream, can't I? Anyway, the other seasons that year was Season of Dawn, a lot of people's favourite season, this one, and it did have some lovely weapons. But for some reason, it didn't ring my bell very much. I found the sundial activity a bit repetitive, and the community event was vast, and it was really complex. And to be perfectly honest, from the point of view of the average player, their experience was just waiting for the community at large to solve it, and then following instructions on the screen. So it was mainly a waiting game, really. But of course, it did bring Saint 14 back, which was marvellous. Season of the Worthy next, and I've got fond memories of this season because I started making more off-the-wall kind of vids. If you want to see some of my weirder early stuff, check out my back catalogue of the Guardian's newscast with Barry options. I really enjoyed making those. I also loved the countdown of the pyramids coming closer and closer and closer to us, which generally create a really good feeling of dread, but they did make us run the Seraph Bunkers activity so much that we all wept. It also had that incredibly long but very cool live event, the Almighty crashing and Rasputin taking it out. I loved this, and I really enjoyed standing in the tower. It obviously went on for way too long, but when it actually happened at the end, the last couple of minutes, it was pretty cool. And as far as I'm concerned, this general idea should be the way every season should end. Then came Season of Arrivals. Now this is my favourite ever Destiny 2 season. We had the Prophecy Dungeon, we had those great interference missions, we had those Savathun's eyes hiding all over the place, we had the great ruinous effigy or the cupboard door of death, which I really loved. The season culminated in another live event where we also saw the Traveller go, well, a bit funny, really, and then it broke our monitors, and then we had that great ending cinematic, and Destiny 2 went offline until the next season came live. It was amazing, and it created a load of excitement for Beyond Light. I do just want to add something else, though, that ending cinematic heralded one of the most controversial decisions in Destiny 2, and I think perhaps one of the worst decisions that's been made in Destiny 2, and that was content vaulting. Because before your very eyes, as the darkness swept in, we lost everything associated with those planets that were swallowed up. A great in-game way of doing it, but crikey, that was quite controversial. Well, of course, I pre-ordered Beyond Light, the deluxe edition again, at the cost of $59.99 or $72.96. 10 quid more than Shadowkeep. And for me, Beyond Light was great. The campaign, not so great, but Europa is one of my favourite destinations. We got stasis and lots of secrets. Seasons-wise, we had Season of the Hunt. Again, kind of goes a bit unnoticed because of all the juicy new stuff we get with the big expansion. But we did have the hunts and the crypto lists, and Crow entered the story as well, so pretty interesting. Next, we had Season of the Chosen. Battlegrounds are introduced, Keitel becomes a mainstay, 3 strikes are added, Devil's Lair, Fallen Saber from Destiny 1, which I really liked, and I wish they did do a bit more of that, and the Proving Ground strike as well. We had the Dead Man's Tale, which means that Presage turned up, and I loved that. All in all, Chosen really is an excellent season. Next, Season of the Splicer, another really good season with the Expunge and the Override missions. Vault of Glass returned, Armor Transmog turned up, and we had the unique looking Splicer weapons. Now for me though, as someone who doesn't really raid that much, they didn't feel as much content as Chosen, but of course the raid is one of the Destiny 2 big draws, so it's all good for the game. Then finally that year, Season of the Lost. The 6-month season because of the pandemic. The world closed down mostly, and we were left wondering what was going to happen. But while we were waiting on the verdict on our own futures, Season of the Lost gave us some fine stuff as we got on the road to the Witch Queen. We had the Shattered Realms, we had astral alignments, we had the exorcism missions, which kind of turned into a sort of live event, one-off mission, which was replayable, which I did quite like. During Season of the Lost, we had that huge Witch Queen Vidoc, which really stoked everyone's flames, and they also let us know that we had another bundle due before the Witch Queen in the form of the 30 30th anniversary. So of course, I bought the whole thing, the Digital Deluxe 30th anniversary bundle. This was £87.99 or $107.02. So for this, I got the 30th anniversary bundle, which included Dares of Eternity, one of my favourite activities in Destiny 2. I mean, it's a paracausal game show with a talking horse. What more do you want? It had the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, my favourite dungeon, and it also brought back the Galahorn. This really is a weird bundle, but I have to admit, I did enjoy it. And by using the 9, it sort of sets it outside of everything that's going on in the Destiny 2 universe. It's a nice little trick, that. Then, of course, we had the Witch Queen, which I consider the second best expansion after Forsaken. It brought the legendary levels to the campaigns with the difficulty scaling, which is great. It gave us a throne world, which I don't actually go to that much, really. It seems to be a bit empty with me. Oh, never mind. We also have glaives brought in, and of course we had weapon crafting in the Enclave. Seasons-wise, we had Season of the Risen with the Psyops Battleground, and that little room in the back of the helm with a little scion into it. Again, it kind of goes a bit unnoticed as it was totally overshadowed by the mighty Witch Queen. We had Season of the Haunted. Again, an okay season for me. I didn't really enjoy it. It was very, very serious. We had the Return of the Leviathan, though, which is pretty good. We had the weekly 7 missions, which were okay. The Nightmare Containment, which really got on my nerves, to be perfectly honest. Then we had everyone's unfavourite, the Season of the Plunder. It started off with a huge bang, was very exciting, but then all of a sudden fizzled out, became really grindy. They had the resets with the Triumphs and the Ruffians, which people felt like didn't really value their time, so I can understand why people weren't happy with that, and it generally wore thinner and thinner as time got on. It's probably one of the weakest seasons so far, but of course it did have its moments. Mind you, upgrading that Elixir Quarter was a big bag of disappointment as well. Best thing about it? Volt Shot, I suppose. Now, it's also worth pointing out that Void, Solar and Arc all got a rework each season, which contributed to a lot of the content that we got. I do quite like that. It's a better experience in creating the type of character that you want. It keeps the game fresh for me, and also went a long way to make up for the kind of lack of content within the seasons up to that point. Then, of course, we have Season of the Seraph, which is the best season this year by absolute miles. It feels much more like the seasons we got after Beyond Light, I suppose. More substantial, loads to do, a great twist on the exotic weapon quest that's lasting for 4 weeks. And what I like about it is that you get rewarded each week with an upgrade to the weapon that you can actually go out and use in the game rather than wait for the quest to complete in 4 weeks' time. It's a great model that I really think they should continue to use for exotic weapons in seasons upcoming. Now, I have to confess, I did spend a bit more money on silver this year. In January, I bought 1,000 silver for £8.49 or $10.33. This was to buy the ornament called the Vigil for Saint 14 for the Vigilance Wing, because I was doing a video on ornaments that makes the weapon sights actually better. Go and have a look at it. It's still worth a squiz. Then in July, I bought another 1,000 silver for £8.49 or $10.33, and this was to buy the Solstice event card upgrade to see if it was worthwhile. It absolutely wasn't, and I'm never ever doing it again. And finally, we have my most up-to-date purchase, Lightfall. That was $79.99 or $97.29, and for this we get the next 4 seasons. So we've already had Season of the Defiance, and we've got Season of the Deep just starting very soon, and whatever the other 2 seasons may be. We've got 2 dungeons in this package as well, 1 coming in Season of the Deep, looking forward to that. And how is it all going? Well, Lightfall was received, if I was to equate it to something, it's probably been received about as well as Shadowkeep Beyond Light, really. Not very well in general. However, it has added a lot of value to the game, but the story wasn't very good at all, and it did kind of feel like a filler to me between the Witch Queen and the final shape. We did get Strand, which is excellent. Season of the Defiance, I haven't really enjoyed that much, to be perfectly honest. It's funny, when we follow the same formula for each season, it starts to feel a little bit stale, and I did enjoy the exotic weapon last season, but doing it again for the Vexcalibur, it was okay. It's probably the highlight, but it's not the best. But we do have to see how Season of the Deep is shaping up. It's looking very, very interesting, so all in all, a mixed bag for Lightfall. So, here we go. Here's the big figure. In total, since 2017, I have spent £459.41 or $557.93 on Destiny 2. But never mind, because I enjoyed it. I had a laugh. I started a YouTube channel, made loads of videos, started live streaming, made loads of friends in a great community, and now have the beginnings of a new career at the ripe old age of 49. So, you know, all in all, time well spent. I want to ask you a question. How much have you spent on your Destiny 2 gaming journey? Not just for the expansions, but silver as well. That would be really interesting. And how many hours have you put in? Just type in time wasted on Destiny into Google and you'll be able to find out. Has it been worth your while? And if I get enough responses, I think perhaps I'll make a follow-up vid to see what all your guys' habits are. Interesting, eh? Now, I've got 2 Destiny channels. I've got this one here, which is mainly videos, and I also do shorts. We have guides, weekly reset, and Xur. So if you're interested in seeing all of my stuff, don't forget, click the like to let me know you like the vid. That's fantastic. Really helps the video out. And subscribe as well and hit the notification bell. Or, if you're interested in seeing some live stream action, I do Destiny 2 and I have variety nights of games as well. We've got a really lovely community over on Time Sausages Live, and there's a link in the description. You can click over to that and come and join us there for shenanigans and larks. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you all again very soon. Sausage it.